It's Women's Month. Let's talk some stuff about women.
Women all over the world experience the same things. That's the wildest thing to me.
Either give up when there's a challenge or give it my all to survive this shit, and I'm going to make it through.
In life, your approach to anything is going to form 90% of your experience.
I follow my fire, and anyone that's looking for a purpose, there's jobs and then there's something that you love doing.
In the legal field, I've experienced this personally. There's like a bias towards women sometimes where someone doesn't have bad intentions, but they don't give you an opportunity because you're a woman. And a friendly reminder to all the women, lift each other up, you guys. It is rough out here. It is rough out here. We need to support each other because no one else is going to do it, okay?
Amen.
Welcome to the Glamorous Grind, where grit meets glamour and law is always in style. I'm Lana Nassar, a certified family law specialist and a trial attorney.
And I'm Mila and Ilona, a trial attorney who specializes in employment and personal injury law. We are lawyers, friends, and your guides to real-life legal drama.
Each week, we're breaking down most unforgettable cases, sharing incredible personal journeys, and keeping you up to date with what keeps us motivated and inspired.
So whether you're hustling to make your own dreams happen or just here for a good story, settle in with your favorite drink because we are bringing you wisdom, wit, and a whole lot of style.
It's law, it's life, it's the Glamorous Grind. Welcome to the Glamorous Grind podcast.
In honor of International Women's Month, we're sitting down, just girls, to talk about all of the issues that working women face.
This week, we're sharing the story of an individual who's making a lasting impact.
A friend of mine and a colleague, Lana Nassar, who is an attorney and an advocate. And we're going to talk about women's issues, including women in the law, obstacles we face, and what we can do to counteract some of those issues.
So let's get into it and welcome Lana Nassar to the Glamorous Grind.
It is International Women's Month, and we thought it would be a great thing to have another powerful woman on, and we can just have a chat about some of the issues that impact working women in law.
That's right. I'll let you do the honors,
and
sister.
This girl definitely has got the glam because she comes here with a bottle of champagne.
I love it. I love it. You fit right in.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were going to hold it. Let's do that. Let's see my
What?
work.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
There's nothing like, wait, it's going to go in your face. What are you doing? That's going to go in your face. You were about to be soaked.
You know, it's a glamorous grind. That's how we do it.
This would have went like club style in your face. Epic. Cheers to women.
Cheers
to women.
Guys.
That's a dumb way of opening champagne.
That was so funny. Cheers to you and you, the glamorous grind.
All the women.
And all
Cheers.
the women.
Cheers to all women.
Amazing. Amazing. Lana, so tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you practice on the defense side of employment law, and you've been in practice for about 10 years. So what drives you?
I follow my fire.
I love that.
I follow my fire. And anyone that's looking for a purpose, follow your fire. Because there's jobs and then there's something that you love doing. I'm not saying I love being a litigator every day, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a deposition yesterday. I had so much fun. I was like, wow, this is fun to me. And
Do you want to do family law? Come over to our firm.
I don't know. She's coming to the PI and employment side.
Yeah. All right.
This is what I think. I think that I was a plaintiff's lawyer first. Okay. I loved helping the little guy. I'm a person that fights for rights. I mean, you can look up my cases I've done in the past, and that's what I do. I'm a civil rights at heart, but there came a point where, COVID hit and I was like, I've always wanted to prove to myself that I could work in big law, as they say. And so I did it, it's fine. I met Amelia. I met awesome, awesome people. Something on the defense side, I will tell you, when I first started, I was like, how am I going to everyone's like, you went to the dark side, right? And this is something that Guillermo shared with me that really resonated. And it was, Lana, wouldn't you rather be in the boardroom consulting than knocking on the window? And I think about that all the time. And I'm like, he's right. Listen, bad things happen. And sometimes people are lying. That both is true. right? Sometimes I genuinely believe companies are trying to do the right thing majority of the time, but of course there's bad apples and everything. So wouldn't you rather have me as a defense attorney being empathetic and understanding that, wait, we may have some risk here. Like, let's do what's right by this individual rather than someone that's like just a hard ass. Like, I wouldn't want that. And the reverse is true on the other side. Of plaintiffs, there's different types of plaintiffs lawyers. There's plaintiffs lawyers that are incredible. And then there's ones where sometimes, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but sometimes when like I settle a case on the defense side, I'm like, that plaintiff's lawyer just sold their client so short. And it's like, that pisses me off because I'm like, that person was wronged, but you were a shitty lawyer and you don't care.
Lazy.
Yeah, you're lazy and you want a quick buck. But on the other side of the coin, there's fantastic plaintiffs lawyers that are getting very big verdicts, especially in California. But there's also fantastic lawyers on the defense side. Like, everyone I work with, they're amazing. They're all amazing people. And so follow your fire. That's my life motto. That's why I started a podcast, because I love it. I love sitting down with people one-on-one, no phones, and just talking, because I don't think we do that in society anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
And to me, that's my passion. That is my passion. I love civil rights.
I love that you're here.
I know. And when Amelia texted me, I was like, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Thank you for coming. I can definitely see the fire in you.
I have a lot of passion.
Have a spark. That's obvious.
So tell us a little bit about your podcast.
My podcast is called The Lana Nassar Vision, Join the Tribe. I do believe it takes a village for anything. And I think a rising tide lifts all boats. And in particular with women, like, let's lift each other up. Like, let's not knock each other down.
Yes.
Like, lead by example. You show love. You show love and you show empathy.
So let me tell you guys something, okay? And I'm like a very in-your-face person. Like, I am very in-your-face. I'm never quiet, timid. And I get a lot of shit from people. And I've been put down quite a few times in my career where people just like come into my face and question me like, who the fuck are you? Mm-hmm. But 99% of the time, it has been another woman. It is almost never a man. Every once in a while, it's some old man. Every once in a while, I do get that. But usually, it's another woman. And it happens all the time. Women just don't bring each other up.
Yeah, I agree with Amelia. I do.
I mean, I agree with that too. Women are usually haters of other women who are successful.
But why?
Or who are pretty, who's got something going on. It's a jealousy thing.
But I always say...
Because they compare themselves, and then I think people forget what it takes to get there. Like, the effort it takes.
Yeah. Well, that all happens... Well, that's exactly correct. That always happens in the silence, right? Our world is broadcast to positivity. Everyone's page is a positive page, right? And it's like, no, you don't understand the struggle. Like, we struggled. Like, I struggled. Like, I failed out of law school. In fact, like, I can help someone that's in my shoes, right?
1000%.
You can help someone that's in your shoes. Like, same with you. Like, we all have our own journeys, and all you can be is yourself.
Yep.
That's all you can be.
And I don't really give a shit if somebody likes you or not. If somebody doesn't like you, they don't like you. It could be a woman, it could be a man, it doesn't matter, because you have your own life.
Strong personality. I feel like a lot of people do.
Do you care if people like you or not?
I think it depends. Like,
sometimes I get down when people don't like me.
I'm a human. Yeah, I get down too. Like, I take hard on criticism.
She's so strong. She's
a divorce lawyer of 20 years. You've seen some shit that I've never seen.
Yeah, but there are a lot of lawyers.
But I agree with you. I think that like a lot of people will like post their highlight reels and people just see the results and don't see the work that it takes. That's why, I mean, I post a crap ton. And
no, you?
Well, but the thing is...
Today you woke up at 2:59.
I did. Actually, I woke up at 2:45. But thank you. By the time I had my coffee, it was 2:59.
Okay.
No, but the reason is because a lot of people will see me and they'll be like, wow, you have 3 kids and you look like that. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I work out 7 days a week.
She sure does.
But no one knows that unless I post it, right? And so people just assume you're lucky, or they think, oh, you're so successful. Yeah, I wake up at 2:50 in the morning to start my work day. No one sees that unless you say it. So, like, no one has the audacity who, like, follows me on Instagram to come up to me and tell me I'm lucky. Because I'm not lucky. I fucking work hard.
There's no luck.
No luck.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
1000%.
That's luck. There's no luck.
I mean, I believe I'm lucky in many ways, but I definitely think you gotta take action to make it happen, or it's not gonna happen. Like, you may be lucky, but it takes work.
Well, I think, yes. Stars have to align, so you do have to be lucky. There's one quote that my mother-in-law says. She says, on the Titanic, people were young, people were rich, people were, successful. But unless you were lucky, you did not get out of there alive. And that's like in everything in life. You have to have some luck to get where you want to get. But a lot of it is work.
And I guess perseverance, because like when you watch Titanic, there's some people who just like jumped to the boat and rushed, right? And just like I'm going to survive this. Versus those that...
Oh my God, the people that like went to sleep with their kids as the boat is going under. I can't even watch that part.
Yes.
I cannot.
Right.
I have to turn it off. It like fucking kills me. It destroys me inside.
It's so sad.
I know, it's terrible. I don't care what you're doing, you fight, right?
But it's a fire in you that does that, right? You either give up when there's a challenge or like, I'm going to fucking give it my all to survive this shit and I'm going to make it through. And think positive. And that's what I do when I have difficult cases, shitty facts. I'm like, all right, you feel it in your gut. Like, no, I'm going to change this feeling in my gut because if I let this feeling penetrate, it's going to impact my day. It's going to impact how things are going to turn out. And I'm just going to picture a better way this will happen, 1,000%. A better end. And I don't know. I think it's part of manifestation.
Your mind is fucking powerful.
You have to be flexible in your mind. It's the most powerful thing. You have to stay positive. You have to make an effort every day to stay positive.
Well, and that's the thing that you sent yesterday, I think, in an email of like Angela Duckworth.
Yeah. It was about grit.
Yes. And there was a whole study done on it, and I watched the TED Talk. The study showed that the people who have the most success in life are not the smartest people. They're not the richest people. Okay. They're not the people that are the most highly educated or with the best upbringing, but it's the people who have grit, who are able to like...
Perseverance.
Yes. Persevere, overcome. When they hit an obstacle, they see it as an opportunity to fucking pick themselves up and keep going. I love that.
My favorite saying in life, fall 7 times, get up 8. Like, I will never give up on myself. I failed out of law school. I failed the California bar. I'm licensed in 3 states now. I'm licensed in the United States Supreme Court. Fuck that. And that's how I mean to everyone. Where's the camera? Fuck that. Like I genuinely never give up. Never give up. And that's why I started a podcast. So people will see like I've failed. But one thing I'll never do is give up on myself.
Let's just be fair. Like, we all love men, too. We do. We love them. They're amazing. We couldn't live without them. Could not make babies. Like, what would we be without them? But also, it's Women's Month. So, like, let's talk some stuff about women and all the stuff that we do. Like, we are amazing. We create human life. I know this is, like, cliche and crazy.
No, she's right. You're right.
But I loved being pregnant because I felt like a superhuman. People would be like,
it.
I know most women hate it, but to me,
yeah, I don't hear that often.
I was a happier pregnant person than I am not pregnant because people would come to me and be like, "How are you doing today?" I'd be like, "I'm fucking superhuman. I made an organ today. What did you do?" To me, the entire process is incredible. Granted, I want no more kids. 3 is like I'm maxed out, but the whole process of creating human life and what we do is crazy to me.
I used IVF, so, it is definitely a miracle, and I'm grateful for the technology nowadays and the science to be able to do it, because personally, I was focused on my career and didn't get so lucky in my personal life to start a family early on. Or, I'm lucky because life comes as it comes, and you make the best of it. And I'm happy the way it went for me because I'm ready to provide a certain lifestyle to my kids at this point. As to if I was having family earlier in life, it would be different, probably more difficult. And I probably wouldn't be where I am today as an attorney or be an experienced and seasoned litigation attorney, because when you have kids, you can't put in the same amount of hours and time into your work as when you don't. Yeah. So I think as a female attorney, to become real good, the sacrifices, you can't really have a family early on. And I believe in freezing your goodies to do it when the time is right. And also not settling for the wrong man just because, he can be, he can have children with you or you can have children with him. Like, choose right.
You're speaking my love language, sister. I think everyone's on their own timeline, and I think everyone's on their own journey. And I think that the power a woman has is in choosing the right person. And if you haven't found that person, the best thing you can do, in my humble, unmedical opinion, is freeze your eggs. Because I think our society has never told us that. I think people are talking about it now. But like for me, for example, you know, I wish I did that at 30 years old because as people know, you know, you're born with all the eggs, right? And so the younger you can do it, obviously it's so expensive. And I do think our entire system needs to cover eggs. Whoever needs to cover it, insurance companies need to cover it. But it is the only real way to find opportunity and choice, the choice of what you want to do and what you don't want to do, you know, not settle just to have kids like you were saying, which I'm not saying is a problem. It's just the lack of choice when you can't freeze your eggs, I think is really scary for a woman.
Well, I think, you know, me being Armenian, you are also Middle Eastern, right? Like we grew up sort of hearing you got to get married, you got to have kids. And I grew up with grandparents that constantly reminded me that I'm now an old maid and all my cousins and everybody's married with family and I'm, you know, I don't have it all together, although I was focused on my career. And, you know, had I gotten lucky with somebody, maybe things would have been different. But everybody's life is different. I mean, you can make the wrong choice. And I did at one point, you know, I made a wrong choice in marrying a guy like pretty quickly because I thought everything was right. And when the kind of the dream fell through and I realized I'm not going to have family as I planned, then I immediately went to do the freezing because I'm like, oh, shit. I'm now 30. I was 36 at a time. The marriage thing didn't work out. And I don't want to just have a family with somebody random. Like, I want to do it on my terms. And I want to freeze my genetic material. And if I get lucky and life happens and I meet the right guy to have a family with him without having to go the IVF route, great. But this is a good insurance to have so that you are not... You don't feel the pressure of a biological clock.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of employers, like big tech companies, are covering, you know, they're getting policies that allow women to cover for reproductive things, including eggs, freezing, egg storage, if they opt to do that. I think it needs to be talked about because infertility rates are through the roof generally, but especially like people are getting married later, which is actually a good thing because people are like becoming themselves and knowing what they want before they jump into marriage. So, you know, I think divorce rate is probably going to be lower in 20 years than it is today.
And you don't have to be married to have children. Not many people just have children.
That's true.
And avoid all the fiduciary duties.
I know so many people that have a sperm donor and that's the life path they choose. And, you know, that's empowering. Good for them. You know, I think you said it right. It's an insurance policy for you as a woman. And, you know, you have this law firm now and maybe you wouldn't be able to build it the way you built it if you had kids at 25.
You for sure wouldn't.
No,
what hours were you working?
Yeah, I worked like 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I was there till, you know, after 1 a.m. every day. And I was there early. So it would not have been possible if I had family or kids.
I had a moment this morning.
Yeah.
And like, I've got 3 kids now and they all need stuff constantly. And I do feel like, and I talked about this on one of our past episodes, that like life is a teeter-totter and like sometimes life needs more and sometimes work needs more. But if you're just starting your career and you have a family, it's incredibly difficult to balance that. I mean, even now, like Daniel on Friday, he has like a school lunch and it's a 20-minute lunch. Okay. You go to school and I'll like bring him in and out, and I've gone every year. And on Friday, I'm like, I'm really busy. I have a lot going on at work. Like, I don't want to take even that 20 minutes because that means I have to work from home in the morning. And he's just like, Mom, I really want you to come. You've been coming every year since kindergarten. I'm like, so I have to like wake up at the butt crack of dawn to like make sure I get all my work in to take that hour off. And I have to work from home. And then I have to drive to the office afterwards.
Why don't you just work from home?
Well, it's like, it's hard to get everything done when I work from home and then that break and it's just harder. Yeah. So like little things like that you have to take into account. And the problem is the older your kids get, the harder it is too to balance that. So if you have kids later and you're later on in your career and you're more established, it's a lot easier to have that flexibility.
And you get your partying in.
Like, yeah, I didn't get any partying in.
You didn't.
Yeah, I think,
Like, I have a girlfriend, you know, I was in my 20s. And
cheers to that.
Back in the days, like, when I went to law school, but I also went dancing and, you know, going to clubs and whatever.
Yeah.
And like one of my girlfriends who had kids early on in her 20s would call me and was living through me because she was stuck at home breastfeeding, one after another. And like our conversations were like, hey, do you know what cheese my daughter likes? And then I would hear kids screaming in the back. And when you're 20s, you don't enjoy that. Even if you're, trying to be nice while your girlfriend attends to the children who are yelling in your ear and she's yelling back at them as if it's supposed to be interesting to me. And like, that was their life now, but now it's kind of reversed. Now their kids are old, they're in college, and I'm in the, baby stage, but I don't care. Like, it's nice. I feel like however your life works out, just enjoy it. Like, you're going to have the blessing of being, still young in another decade when your kids are going to be older. And I'm motivated, although I'm an older parent, like my kids are just 1, I'm motivated to stay younger longer, right? Because absolutely. I just have to be so I can be in their lives.
I'm going to eventually get my partying in, and you guys will be there with me.
I think it's a blessing when you have kids young, too, because you are going to grow up with your children.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And your parents are there, right? Like your kids have their grandparents in their lives longer. And so whichever way it cuts in your life, I think it works out, because what a blessing. Like, I wish I had my grandparents alive. Like, oh my God, I know your grandma's still alive. Yeah. Like, what a blessing. So, that's your life. And you're Amelia, you are flourishing. I watch you.
Aw,
you are killing it, and you will motivate me. You are probably one of those disciplined people I've seen in my life. So if women look at this woman, because you got married at what age?
21.
21 years old. Now you're
34.
34.
You forgot.
Don't tell me.
So, like, that path is beautiful, too.
Yeah.
It's a different path.
I agree, though. Like, I think every path is beautiful. And generally in life, I think your perception and how your approach to anything is going to form 90% of your experience. I think both paths have their positives and their negatives.
I was thinking about this the other day. Women all over the world experience the same things.
Yeah.
That's the wildest thing to me. Like, you get your period, you show up, right?
Yep.
You have cramps, you show up. You go through a miscarriage, you show up. You have a child, you show up after a few weeks, right? You are taking care of your aging parents, you show up.
Yeah.
Men don't have those experiences.
That's true.
And you show up and you're glamorous and have a smile on your face. And it's just all over the world. We are all experiencing the same thing. And it's just unbelievable to me, the power of a woman. Yeah. It's really, truly like remarkable.
I've experienced this myself, and probably you have too, where sometimes you just feel like death. For whatever reason, whether it's emotional or physical.
Okay, call me when you feel like that, please.
Well, but like when you have kids, especially, you don't have the privilege to feel like death. You show up for your kids. Whatever they need. If they're hungry, if they poop their pants and step in their poop. You don't have to
focus on being depressed. You just gotta, there's always something to do.
Always what my grandma said. Every time I get into my head, my grandma would be like, I had 5 kids. I had no time to be depressed. And, that's not the right approach either, right? Like, you should pay attention to your feelings. Yeah. But we do. We show up no matter what. And I do feel like there's this, inherent underlying, mama bear thing that, especially when you have kids, it forces you to show up no matter what. And that's always 100%. You don't show up half-assed.
Like, last night, I was working till, 3:30 to 4 in the morning because I had to get a project done that I felt guilty that I didn't get done the other couple of days. And then, my baby was up a couple of times at night. So, I got about 3 hours of sleep. So in the morning, I drive my daughter with still my makeup on from yesterday. And I didn't have time to put on my regular shoes. So I wore my fluffy pink slippers. And we were out of apples and we're out of a couple of things that I needed for the babies. And I'm like, all right, do I go looking like this? What if somebody from my daughter's school is going to see me with probably I don't know what I have in the back of my hair because I didn't brush my hair yet. I'm like, okay, my grandma would say, never look like that in public. But okay, fuck it. We need apples and I need to get it out of the way. So the point is that, when you're a working woman and you have a family or you don't have a family, there's so much things you take care of other than trying to look good to go to work.
House
other
management.
than, taking care of other people's needs and everything else. There are little things like that take up your time and you just get it done.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
I mean, if that were a state, women just get things done.
We do.
Just get things done.
It's funny. We were just talking about this too in one of our other episodes, like implicit bias. And what comes to my mind is, because I do a lot of trainings on this, but there's like a bias towards women sometimes. And there are situations in the legal field. I've experienced this personally. I don't know. You probably haven't because you haven't had kids, but I'm sure you've experienced other biases. But there are certain biases towards
like
moms
what?
Or parents where like partners, especially in large law firms, when they're giving out assignments, and they could be great assignments, but that take up a lot of time or require long hours, they'll be like, I'm not going to give this to you because you have a family.
They say that?
Yeah, like you like, I know you like to be home with your kids in the evening, so like I don't want to put this on you.
I think they're probably being genuine. But
You have kids, like this is going to take long hours, it has a deadline, and I'm like, and me being who I am, I'm like, motherfucker, give it to me.
Give me it.
I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done better than anyone else. But like, that's implicit bias where someone doesn't have bad intentions, but they like don't give you an opportunity because you're a woman or because you're a mom or because you have a family. And those are like issues we face sometimes. And I think men face these issues too sometimes. I've actually had cases come to me where men start being treated badly after they take paternity leave, because there's like a whole taboo behind that too, of like men who take leave, they're like, why is he not showing up for his work? Like, he doesn't need to like take time off to like be with his kid. It's not like he's recovering from childbirth, even though it's protected, and they're not going to say that up front. But I do think that it happens a lot.
I think if I didn't have children, or if my business partner didn't have children, we would have not seen it that way. But since we did, and he had bonding time, like we all had bonding time after we had our kids, although not for too long because we have to get back to work pretty quick. I think we respect that. But if we didn't have children, I do think that there would be that perception, like, like, why does a dude need that time? But when you have kids, you get it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of men don't take it.
A lot of men don't take it.
And I think it's a big conversation in America where they're not taking paternity leave because although they need it, I feel like they feel that they're going to be perceived one way or another.
And they
have
perceived
a woman at home
badly.
that takes care of it. I mean, like,
but like a woman needs
and they need
to
to bring a
recover.
check home.
Like, like a woman needs to recover from, especially if there's like a cesarean and you have multiple kids. It's hard to like take care of. I mean, when I had my third kid, I could not possibly recover from childbirth and take care of 3 kids. Like, I don't know how women do it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. It's not even just that. Childbirth. You have other children at home.
And I have, a 4-year age gap between my first 2 and a 3-year age gap between my second 2. But imagine kids, like you had 4 1-year-olds at once. Like, you couldn't do that on your own.
I tried one night, but it didn't work out.
How do you do it?
I'm fortunate that I have help. I certainly am not doing it by myself because I work full time. Hire 3 people to live with me because at night each one takes one of the babies. And then I take one baby and I rotate each of the infants. So I get to bond with them every night. And then I also sleep with my 5-year-old. I'm blessed that I am able to hire help. The only reason I'm able to do that is because I worked hard since I became a lawyer from 2005 to now. I'm going on my 20th year, and I busted my ass for the first 17 years, like pretty much nonstop. I billed almost 2,800, 3,000 hours a year regularly, and that's aside from doing administrative work and marketing and everything else it takes.
I think people are built differently, and I think people prioritize things differently, right? And so I'm more of like you, but probably because we're immigrants, right? We have this like, I'm first generation, you're an immigrant.
Were you born here or no?
I was born here, so I have this
okay.
My parents came here with $500 in their pocket, and we had to figure out how to put food on the table, so we have that hustle.
So, okay, since our children are born in the United States, how do we instill work hard mentality in them when you're able to obviously give them things you didn't have as a child? How did your parents do that with you?
You follow your parents' lead. I would see my dad leave the house every morning at 6 a.m. and come home at midnight for 40 years.
Okay.
Because he didn't have another choice. And so I always say, people say this our job is hard. My job's not hard. What my dad did was hard, right? Mm-hmm. My dad did for 40 years, driving into difficult areas and running liquor stores and convenience stores. And that's hard work. This is a privilege. Mm-hmm. I stress is a privilege. I do think, like, I think you said earlier, it's a privilege to be, thinking about what's my purpose. Like, I'm happy I get to have those thoughts, but they don't have that choice,
Right.
And so my advice to you is you worked your ass off for 20 years as a lawyer, make sure your kids see that. Because, and not that they have to follow your footsteps, but if you want them to get that to the work ethic, right? Like, everyone always says, how do I get my kid to read? And I always, I listen to all these podcasts about it. They're like, read in front of them. They'll read, If you watch TV, they're going to watch TV.
Kids will
and so
do
this
what
woman
you
here,
do,
I've seen
not
her.
what you say.
Didn't I tell you right before we started recording? I see your son emulating your steps.
Yeah.
Physically, your
Her
steps.
office is so cute. Didn't notice it until last week. It may have been there longer, but she has this huge banner on the wall. It says, work harder, nobody cares. And everything on her desk is like, fuck you, nobody cares. Work harder, work harder,
She's
work
right.
harder. It's hilarious.
My kid, at least my oldest one, does. I think he appreciates that. And I think a lot of times when he doesn't want to do something, he does. And I make him, and I know I get a lot of judgment for this, but I'll make him listen to Kobe Bryant podcasts. Kobe Bryant talking, and he talks about his childhood and how, what he did. Because I think, and I'm going to get hate for this, but I don't really care. I'm sorry. I think we've lost our competitive edge.
Oh,
I think competition is not a thing anymore.
Girl,
and it makes me
agree.
so angry because I think competition is great because it makes you better. It makes you better. And that's one of Kobe's greatest things that he always talked about is he's like, I want to compete with you because you make me want to do better because you're so fucking amazing. And I feel that way. And I want my son to feel that way. I want him to compete. I don't want him to settle for mediocrity, not because I want him to be exceptional, but I want him to be his best self.
Yes.
I don't want him to grow up and be like, I just wasted 10 fucking years watching TV for 10 hours a day. I want him to be like, I did this because I loved it. I did this. I was passionate about this. Find his passions and all of those things. So Kobe has a lot of podcasts where he talks about how he was growing up and how he sucked at basketball, sucked at it and just worked so hard and was so competitive until he became the best version of himself. And I make him listen to those things and he believes in it. And one of the quotes that we always say, what Kobe says is rest at the end, not in the middle. And whenever Daniel gets lazy, I'm like, when do you rest, Daniel? And he's like, at the end, not in the middle.
I love that though.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% correct. 100% correct.
And if not, I'll pay for his therapy. TBD. I'll let you guys know.
Something our parents were never into.
No, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. Look, he's a guy. And seriously, it's hard to find men who have good values, family values, and who are driven and do what we're, are all about. So thanks for raising a good man over there.
We'll see. Hopefully.
Right.
Cheers to that.
All right.
Cheers to
I
that.
need more food.
Keep going. Keep fighting.
Oh my god. Lana, thank you
fun,
so much for coming and joining us. This was such a fun conversation, and thanks for bringing the champagne. I don't know if our producer will ever let us have champagne again. After
I'm glad I didn't cause any personal injury on this episode by breaking a glass, and you're okay.
I know I had to drink from the bottle.
There's
Thank
nothing
you.
I love more than powerful women. To women.
Powerful women.
Amen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And good luck to all the women out there. Just believe in yourself. And when you get down, make a list of all the things you've accomplished when you thought you couldn't or somebody said you couldn't. And remind yourself that it's all within you. You have control over your life. And say, if anybody gets in your way, get rid of negative people. Don't be around them. Keep going.
And a friendly reminder to all the women, lift each other up, you guys. It is rough out here. It is rough out here. We need to support each other because no one else is going to do it, okay?
What an inspiring conversation with Lana Nassar. Her work in the law and advocacy is truly changing the game.
Absolutely. This is proof that one conversation can really make an impact.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to reach out to us and let us know.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and join in the conversation.
And men, we promise you, next time it's not going to be all about women and you'll find something interesting too. So stay tuned and stay handsome.
Keep grinding, keep shining, and we'll see you next time on The Glamorous Grind.